Good morning. Hayom Yom, Zayin Sivan. So there is a line in the Gemara that says that if the earlier generations, if the earlier rabbis are like angels or like malachim, then by comparison, we are only like men. But if they are said to be men, then by comparison, we are only donkeys. We're like donkeys in comparison. They're so much smarter than us. They were so much more spiritually sensitive and in tune. They were such better people than we are. And the generations are just going downhill. And the Rebbe begins today's Hayom Yom by taking that line and applying it to us versus the rabbis who lived 1,000 years ago. More specifically to the Rambam. And he begins by saying that the earlier malachim, the earlier angels, in reference to the Rambam, so the Rambam told us something very fascinating, something incredible about health, about internal healing, about internal spiritual health. And bear in mind that the Rambam himself was a doctor, he was a professional healer. And the Rambam, in the laws of how to be a healthy human being, in the laws of Hilchos Deos, how to be a good, normal, healthy human being, so over there he writes something incredible. The Rambam writes that physical health, the way you take care of the body, and spiritual health, internal, spiritual, emotional, mental health, work the exact same way. And whichever method you use in physical health to heal the body, it works the same way, and you use the exact same methods to heal a person internally to help with spiritual health. Internal spiritual healing works the same way as physical bodily healing. And the Rebbe says that taking this principle of the Rambam, which the Rambam just says is a fact, let us look at this principle, let us examine it, let us get into it a little bit, let's examine this idea. And the Rebbe says that in physical health and physical healing, so there's something called the general standard healthy way of living. To exercise a certain way, to eat a certain way, to avoid cigarettes, to avoid alcohol, whatever it may be. There's certain things which are unhealthy for you generally and certain things that are healthy for you. And therefore there's the standardized way of living, the healthy way of living. And any human being can benefit by living that way. If anyone just lives a normal, standard, healthy lifestyle, that will bring them health benefits. But he said, if you have a specific illness, if you have a specific physical issue, then it won't help to just do the normal, standard, healthy lifestyle. You have to go to a doctor, you have to get help. You have to begin by identifying and diagnosing what is your issue, what is your specific issue, and only then can you treat your specific issue, get rid of your specific issue, and deal with it. And he said, there are generally three kinds of physical issues. There are three things from which all physical issues stem from. And every physical illness, every physical sickness, every physical issue that is affecting your physical health can be rooted back to one of these three causes, can be classed in one of these three classifications. The first category are physical illnesses, physical issues that are stemming from a problem in the body. The body is broken. There's either something physically growing on the body or the body is literally broken and there's an issue with the body, so the body is the cause of the issue, the body is the source of the issue, and the body needs to be fixed. The second class of illnesses are illnesses that are affecting your physical health, but there's nothing wrong with the body. The body's perfectly fine. There's something wrong internally, there's something wrong on the emotional level. You have, let's say, a lot of stress or a lot of anxiety, which can sometimes cause physical reactions or exacerbate physical illnesses, and it's causing you physical health issues. But it's not a problem in the body, it's an internal problem, and you need to address that accordingly. You need to take medication for that or go to therapy for that. But you have to treat the problem where it is, and that's how you stop the illness. That's how you stop the issue. And he said the third class of illnesses, the third class of physical issues, is there's actually nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your body. There's nothing wrong with you emotionally or mentally. It's just you're in a very toxic environment. The air is very bad for you. If you're like a coal miner, the air is literally killing your body. It's destroying you. So then, you don't have to change anything about you, you just have to leave the toxic environment, and that's the change that needs to be made, and that's how you deal with the issue. And these are the three causes of all physical issues. And when you're dealing with a physical issue, you first have to identify what is causing the issue, and then what is the specific issue, and only then can you treat it effectively and take effective steps how to get rid of the issue, how to uproot it, and how to get rid of it out of your life, how to be a healthy human being. And the Rebbe says that in the exact same way, it works with spiritual health, with internal spiritual health. That generally there is the general standardized way of how to live a healthy, wholesome, good life, a spiritual, wholesome, good life. And that consists of incorporating as many Torah and mitzvahs into your life as you can, studying as much Torah as you can, learning as much Torah as you can, and then trying to incorporate into your life as many good, positive qualities and midas and character traits, which is all the general good stuff, humility, kindness, patience, generosity, whatever it may be, and then staying away from everything the Torah tells us is bad. The physical things the Torah tells us is bad, the emotional things the Torah says is bad, everything the Torah says is bad, stay away from those things. And that would be like someone who eats well, exercises, stays away from alcohol, stays away from drugs, and that would be a general, standardized, good, healthy way to live, and that would bring anybody tremendous benefits to live that way, to live the standard, healthy, spiritual lifestyle. But he said that is never going to fix, that is never going to address your specific issues. It is not going to take care of your specific issues. If you want to take care of your specific issues, the things that are really destroying your life, the things that are tearing you apart, the things that are wrecking you inside, internally, spiritually, he said, then to begin with, just like a physical illness, you first have to begin by identifying what is your issue. And to identify exactly what is your issue, you even have to identify first what is causing your issue, in which class of illness would your issue even fall under. And he said, again, there are these three classes of illnesses, of internal spiritual illnesses. There are spiritual illnesses, there are spiritual problems that come from the body. There's something sick about your body. There's something spiritually sick about your body, unwholesome about your body. And our bodies are physical, are sensual. And therefore, all our appetites, all our physical appetites, all our sensual appetites come from the body. Our appetites for food or for women or anything like that it's a desire from the body because it makes the body feel good. And someone who's sick in their body would have very perverse, very depraved physical appetites. And if you have very physical, depraved appetites, if you have very perverse appetites, if you have an unhealthy, a usually unhealthy appetite, a physical appetite, then you have an issue with your body. Your body is the core of the issue. The body is the source of the issue. And that means your issue is stemming from class number one. Class of illnesses number two would be there's nothing wrong with your body. You don't have a particularly unhealthy or unspiritual body. Rather, you have a particularly grubba body. Rather, there's something sick about your soul. Something sick about your nefesh, about your spirit. You have a sick, twisted soul. And this would cause you to have issues on issues that have nothing to do with the body, nothing to do with the sensual experiences. Rather, it has to do with internal experiences, emotional experiences, things that the nefesh cares about, things that the body doesn't care about. So he says, for example, you might feel very arrogant if you're an egomaniac, or he says if you're a pathological liar, or if you're very jealous of other people and you don't want other people to succeed. So none of those things hurt your body or make your body feel good. It only affects your nefesh. So that means that issue, if it's one of those things or similar to those things, that means the issue is nothing to do with your body. The issue is coming from your soul, from your nefesh. There's something wrong and sick and off about your nefesh. And then he said the third class of illnesses, of internal spiritual illnesses, are illnesses that are actually not coming from you. They have nothing to do with you. If you were left alone on an island, you would not develop or have these unhealthy patterns or these unhealthy parts of yourself. Rather, they're learned behaviors that you're picking up and learning from your environment, from people you hang out from books you read, from something in your external environment that is implanting this unhealthy behavior in yourself. And sometimes you'll notice a change in yourself, an unhealthy change, and you'll realize that this is not coming from me, this is coming from a certain bad influence in my life, and then the appropriate response would be to just cut that out. And the Frieidker Rebbe says, the Rebbe says in the Hayom Yom, that you need to, first of all, classify even what kind of illness your illness is, and then more specifically, what is your specific illness? And then once you have that knowledge, you will be able to have an appropriate, custom-tailored plan how to deal with your illness, how to deal with your individual problem, and how to get rid of it. And the Rebbe says, to finally get rid of it, though, you need the following three things. First of all, like we said, you need to identify what your issue is. You have to even know what the issue is. But he said, secondly, you have to want to get rid of the issue. If you know that your arm is broken, if you know you're physically sick, but you don't want to get healed for whatever weird reason, you don't want to go to a doctor, you are never going to get better. So he said, it's not enough to just identify what our issues are, but then we have to want to change. We have to want to get rid of it. We have to take the spiritual medicine, put in the work to get rid of it. And often we could become so comfortable in our spiritual illnesses, we can get so used to them, we could begin to even identify with them, that we don't want to change, we don't want to get better, we don't really want to change. Even though it's causing us so much disruption and pain in life, we don't want to really get rid of it. Take, for example, someone who's like depressed for a very long time, and they begin to see themselves through that lens and identify as that, and they don't even want to get better. They don't want to ever even really be happy. Because if they were happy, they wouldn't feel like themselves anymore because they identified and they think of themselves as a depressed human being. And there's many examples like that, there's many things like that, that a person doesn't even want to get better. And in today's modern society, specifically in the media and the books and movies, it really romanticizes unhealthy behaviors and unhealthiness, and it's very toxic. It's a terrible message that there's something beautiful and romantic about being unhealthy, and you should it's something to strive for and to pride yourself in. And it's not true. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. It's not cool. And the person has to want to get better and not be toxic in any way, not to be unhealthy in any way. To just be a good, normal, healthy human being. That is what you should want. And then finally, says the Rebbe, sometimes you could know your illness, you could know your issues, you could want to get better, but the problem is you literally feel there is no way to get better, there is no way to change. You don't see a way out, you feel like there's no cure that's been discovered for your illness, for your issue. And nothing you've heard and you've read, you don't see a way out. And a person has to believe that Hashem, with Hashem's help, you can always get better, you can always get fixed. You can always improve, you can always get rid of your illness. Hashem could cure anybody. Hashem could cure anyone. Hashem could even cure you with your issue, with your problem. And with that belief in Hashem, Hashem will help you as long as you just want to get better, and Hashem will and can help you get better. Now there's another Hayom Yom entry, the entry of Chaf Ches Av, where it just is taken from the same source, from the same letter, and it elaborates a little bit more, and it draws several more comparisons between physical health and internal, spiritual, emotional, mental health. So check that out, Chaf Ches Av, if you want to know what that is. And just God bless you. Stay healthy physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. Just have a wonderful day. And yeah.